Hi everyone. Welcome to Jack Reading Corner. I'm Jack, and I was going to sit down and get some reading done. Hopefully, like a little bit done before my mom goes to Walmart because she just told me that she might be going to Walmart because my dad's birthday is tomorrow, and she wants to make a cake for him. And the pan she has does not, I guess, doesn't work. So she told me that she's going to Walmart today to buy a different one. So I figured, if I'm ready, maybe to get out of the house, I'll go with her, and who knows, maybe I can get her to drop me off at Books A Million while she picks up her pan. Not that I need to go to the bookstore, but you know how us readers are. We all have a bit of addiction, but it's not a bad one. I mean, that's my one defense is that if I get criticized for buying too many books, I'd be like, hey, well, at least I'm not addicted to drugs or anything. But so I was all set to do some reading, and then I remembered there's a few videos I wanted to make this morning on my day off. So slobbers coming out of my mouth. So first, I may as well make my video on what I'm going to read today, because it is I have a day off today, and I actually have one tomorrow, but before I left, I did overhear them saying that they're going to need a bagger because one of the guys can't come in. And I heard them ask, and they mentioned my name and a few other baggers, see if they were working. So now I'm anticipating that they might call me, which I'm hoping that they asked someone already last night, and I avoided it. Although I think I'm giving them, I feel bad that I'm giving them the impression that that I'm not going to volunteer to take a call, to come in if someone else can't come in. Although, I mean, if they call me, then I'll say it because I feel like, yeah, I should, if they're going to call me, then I would feel bad for saying no. But I like my off days, and I'm sure most people do, I mean, like, not all of us are lazy, but we do, those of us who are willing to do the work, we do appreciate days off. Of course, my mom has worked so much in her lifetime that I feel like she deserves more days off than I do. Because I'm just starting. I mean, Harris-Tee's my first serious, regular job. Because, I mean, I worked at Walmart once for a period of time during the holidays. But then, I asked the store manager, I was like, if I could, take off because we were going away for Christmas. And then he was like, well, he kind of admitted that he would have to fire me because, well, they hired me so I could work during Christmas. Which, yeah, that was a little hard to take, but I held back the desire to get upset. And when I get upset, I don't get mad, I get sad. And then I did 2 summer internships, one in 2014, one in 2015, which paid a lot better than retail. But because I wasn't doing a lot, I was just doing stuff when they gave me stuff to do, because I was just an intern. It wasn't exactly fun for me. I mean, it was a good experience. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but it was just, I was a little disappointed by it. But if I can find a job like that in the future, like, I don't want to stay at Harris-Teeter forever, even though it's a good job, it's a decent job, and I get paid well, and I like the people I work with, and the customers are mostly, it's a good customers, good customers. I mean, you have occasionally your cranky, rude people, but it's mostly good. It's just, I don't want to work at a grocery store for the rest of my life, and it's hard when you hear people like your sister and some of your cousin who's like not all that, talking about how great their jobs are and how happy they are, how content they are with their jobs. Now, of course, as my sister said, not every job has its ups and downs and pros and cons. Of course, I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm well aware of that, but I definitely, and no disrespect to other people who work in retail, whether it's a grocery store or like at a clothing store or any kind of store. No disrespect. I mean, we work people and I could say we because I am currently working in that kind of job. We work hard. It's a hard job. I'm not, it's just I don't want to spend the rest of my life working at a grocery store. I want to do something like, I'll work at an office as long as I'm kept busy and have a lot to do and not just sitting there waiting for someone to give me something new or having to approach people and be like, okay, well, give me something to do here. But anyway, so let me tell you about what I'm going to read today on my day off. Hopefully it'll stay my day off. But like I said, if they call, I'll probably say yes. Of course, watch them call and my mom's getting ready to leave for Walmart. And then I can't go because I have to go to my job. Okay, so currently I started Hero of Ages. I didn't just start it. I'm on chapter 21. And my goal is to get this done within the next 3 months. Because I don't want to be reading this before, I don't want to bring this one into the cruise because there are other Brandon Sanderson books I want to get to, and that's why I'm trying to get these done first, this trilogy done first. And I don't want to just be setting it aside and then read it when I come back from the cruise because I'll feel like it'll be on my mind, and then I don't want to risk forgetting about it and not coming back to it for a while. Although, I'm more engaged in the story than some of the other books I've done that too. But and even if I come back to it right away, there will still be a week in between reading this book. And I feel like I have a bad habit of doing that, of taking breaks in between readings. So, I haven't come back to The Stand lately because it's such a long book. It's a Stephen King book, so it's a chunker of a book. It's over 1,000 pages. This is the third and final book in this particular trilogy, but Brandon Sanderson did write a second era, which I think is also a trilogy. It might be more than a trilogy. So it's set in the same world, but it's 100 years later, or, whatever, or 20 years later, I don't know, with a different set of characters. So I don't know if any of these characters are going to make an appearance, maybe the two, maybe Vin and Ellen might make an appearance in the second era. It depends on how many years, because, who knows, they might make it in as old people. But, like I said, this is the third and final book in the first original trilogy that he wrote, and a lot is going on. And what I like about Brandon Sanderson, which I think what most people like, is that he takes a lot of the elements and tropes of fantasy and changes them up. He twists them and makes them different and makes them less tropey. It's not a lie. It's not us exaggerating. He really does. And, of course I can't give you an example to prove it. I can't think of anything. I guess maybe the whole Chosen One trope is a little bit twisted in this trilogy, and also and I can't think of, I don't know what else. So I hope you guys don't consider that a spoiler. I didn't tell you the details, I just told you it's in the story, but it's a little different from the traditional approach to, but yeah, so I got a long way to go, but hopefully if I focus a lot of my attention on this, so I'll probably bring this with me if I go with my mom, along with the next book I'm currently reading, and that is, I'm almost done with Crime and Punishment, but it's taking me forever because it's not as exciting, I'm very much engaged in the story and definitely interested to see how things are going to work out for the characters, especially the main guy, Raskolnikov. But at the same time, it's not like with this one where you go you go to the next chapter. I've stopped in the middle of chapters. It does help that some of these chapters are really short too. So, but this is it's definitely more of a slow moving story, but I'm definitely intrigued by it and definitely enjoying it, and this is pretty good. Compared to some of the classics and some of the more literary books I've started, I've gotten pretty good. I'm almost done. It's just, I have a good chunk left to read, but I mean, compared to some other, like I say, compared to my other books, other classics I've started reading, this is pretty good. This is definitely really good. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how things are gonna work out. Like, is our main character gonna end up in jail for murdering that woman? Is he never gonna get caught? I mean, the guy that's trying to, that one dude that's trying to say in the back his name. Oh, so the magistrate is definitely determined. The magistrate Porphyry. I don't know how to say his Porphyry. I don't know if that's correct. It's Porfriry. He's the magistrate. He's definitely determined to catch Raskolnikov. And I think he's getting suspicious of him. He suspects something, but he doesn't have any proof that he committed the murder. And his best friend still hasn't figured it out. But his best friend is still thinking, okay, he's definitely thinking that something's up with his friend. And I just realized this is translated by a woman. I did not know that. And it's revised partially by a woman too. That's kind of cool. Especially since it's Women's Month. So, and right now he's talking to Sonia, the prostitute, and he gave her and her family money after their dad had just got killed. And he's talking to her, and he thinks she's kind of a religious maniac because she has such strong belief in God. For me, it's not. I mean, there are people that are a little bit zealot-like in their religious beliefs, but to me, the impression I get from Sonia is not. She's not a religious maniac, but I guess compared to him, she is, because I think he's a bit of an atheist. I think he, or at least he has a hard time believing in God. I'm always fascinated by books because I am someone who does believe in God. I'm not going to be spouting my religious beliefs or anything, but I'm going to say that I do believe in God. And it's definitely intriguing when you read books about people that don't or struggle with their faith. Like in Hero of Ages, I mean, it's not our world, so it doesn't, the belief systems are very different, but we have one of our characters, say Zed, who has, something happened to him in the last book that has made him question his faith and his beliefs, and has come to realize he's a hypocrite because he studies religious beliefs, but he has never, focused on one. He hasn't picked one himself. He's just scholarly interested in all these different religions. And now, because of the bad thing that happened to him in the last book, he's starting to, he's feeling guilty about that. He's feeling he's a hypocrite. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading these. I do need to get back to reading this one to continue with reading book 3, but I don't know if I'll get to this book today, maybe tomorrow. Like I said, they might potentially call me into work. I mean, although I'm assuming that they asked someone to come in yesterday after I left. But this is the retelling of Jane Eyre, Flame, Gem, and Harmony, set in the 1950s, so there are some differences to the story. It has the basic elements, but Gemma's friend, instead of dying of typhoid, she dies of an asthma attack because her dad's not very good at taking care of her. He's kind of dumb about it. He seems like a really bad father. And so she dies of asthma because of her father's lack of taking care of her, and how the school is really bad at that too. School is not that great when taking care of its students. And they're very strict too. So I finally got to the part where she goes to the rich guy's house and becomes, in this case, not a governess, but she becomes a nanny she's going to become a nanny to a little girl. I haven't started reading, but that's in the next part. I haven't actually done the reading of it yet. I haven't read a chapter from that part yet. But it's been divided, the books is divided into sections, into part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. part 1 was living with her aunt and how she was abused, and then part 2 was her days at the school, and then now part 3 is gonna be about, I guess, about her going to that house and meeting that guy and stuff, and being a nanny to the little girl. And I think the guy's name is gonna be Sinclair. Not St. Clair, Sinclair. I think he's gonna be the Rochester of the story. And as I said in my last video, I'm kind of curious, are they gonna have the same, because this is set in the 1950s, so it's the 20th century, so are they gonna have that same age gap? I'm kind of curious, because I think in today's, especially, I mean, even in the 1950s, I think in the 60s, I think it would still be kind of weird having this guy be like Gemma being 18 and this guy being like in his 40s or 30s. I think it would still be kind of weird for some people. So I'm wondering if it's gonna be if they're gonna change his age a little bit. I don't know though. They might not, because she might want to be authentic to as close to the original story as she can be as far as some things. But I don't know. To me, that would come off as weird. Like if he was like in his 30s and she was 18. Because I mean, yeah, the 1800s in the 19th century, yeah, that makes sense, because a lot of women did marry because people were gonna die really young. So it made sense that a woman in her late teens, like that's legally an adult, will marry a guy that's in his 30s or 20s. Like it was kind of normal, because you didn't know when you were gonna die. So I do need to read that. I finally got that. I did start reading Lies of Locke Lamora a little bit. I don't know if I'll get to this one. This one, it'll be okay if I'm planning to get this one on the cruise. That's fine. I mean, ideally, I like to get it done too, but like I said, I don't know if I could read 2 chunky books in 3 months. I mean, maybe I could surprise myself. You know, I mean, I can definitely try. It's not like anything's stopping me. I could try. I could just put aside all these other books, but the dictation is really hard. But anyway, so I'm not that far into the book, obviously. In this one, it's basically Locke and Jean. I think it's Jean. I think it's like the French pronoun, because it looks like a French name. But in English it looks like Jean, but I think it's Jean, because I think this is kind of European inspired setting. I think it's Italy inspired. But and they are currently doing a con with this guy, telling them about this wine they're trying to they're telling this one rich noble couple that they're trying to import some wine legally, and they need their help to do it, and that's as far as I've gotten. I don't know if that's going to be the part of the big con, or if it's something else is going to happen. This is just the con in the beginning that they're having, just to demonstrate the kind of person to demonstrate this guy's capabilities. I don't know, but I will find out, hopefully soon. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a lot of books. And then the two books that I kind of want to start to read are The Phantom of the Opera, which I'm surprised it does not look as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a big chunker of a book, but it's not. This one's pretty thin. I mean, I imagine it still is a long book, but yeah, it's still, I'm surprised. It looks a little thin compared to what I thought it was going to be. But then again, my sophomore theater teacher's copy of the book, because I saw that she had a copy of it one time, it was one of those mass market paperbacks. So of course it looks a little chunkier. It was like this size. So of course it's going to look a little bit. And a hardback book is going to be a little thinner. Oh, and I'm also for my bookmark, because this one I usually do. If I'm thinking about starting a book, I place a bookmark inside. I'm using my Beauty and the Beast bookmark, the live action Beauty and the Beast, which I still like, and I don't get why people have a problem with. I know that, like, Emma Watson's singing is not perfect and everything, but other than that, I don't get what everyone's issue is. And because I'm very sensitive about that. I feel like on the one hand I want to know, but on the other hand I'm like, oh no, don't even bother trying to figure it out because it's just going to piss you off. Because I know I'm a sensitive person, and I can get very immature, even though I know, logically I know that, okay, people are going to have different opinions, get over it. But sometimes, like, if it's something I really care about, and I know I'm not the only one that can get like that. So I gotta start that one, and then, okay, this one I know I'm not gonna get done. And who knows, I might have to bring it, if I start reading this one soon, then I might need to bring it with this with me in June. On the cruise. But I'm trying not to, I'm trying to stick to, I wanna bring some smaller books, like the mass market paperback books with me. Because, I probably won't even get a lot of reading done anyway, because I'm with my family, they always have a whole bunch of activities on a cruise, and then there's all those destinations you stop at, and then, I'm not sighing because, oh great, because I want Taryn to be there, because I'm not as super, I love spending time with my family, but I'm not super excited about this cruise, because I'm not a beach person anyway. And I would rather go to Europe for our big vacation. That's my kind of vacation, going to Europe. Like going to England and Ireland and all those, and Scotland and stuff. Plus, there's actually bookstores. In places like the islands, the only thing they might have is like stores where you can buy jewelry and clothes. Nice island type clothes. There's no actual bookstores or anything that I'm aware of. Although there might be a little cheap one at the on the ship, but it will be probably like those mass market paperback books like these. But I don't know if it will have, but it might have like romance and thrillers and stuff like that. So, but anyway, is this one. I think this is my oldest book I've had on my shelf, I think. And I need to read it. I almost, this is the one, the Dumas book that I'm actually interested in. Because, like, I was gonna start with Three Musketeers, but then after some stuff I heard from Rincy Reads about the book, I was like, I don't know if that book's for me, so I ended up donating that one. But I still want to read this one. Because I really love the movie. Granted, I liked the on-screen version of the Three Musketeers too, but just there are certain things about it. Yes, I'm sure it was a funny book. It's a funny book, but I'm just not as interested in that plot. I would rather just watch it on screen. Come on, it's even like Treasure Island, so trust me. And swashbuckling stories aren't always although you can argue this is a bit of a swashbuckler too, but it's also a revenge story, and I figure what I need to do is just read 100 pages a day or something, or maybe even more than that, because, again, as I've said in the past, I don't like, okay, I think I have a cold, or I have a cold coming on. I thought I didn't, but then I've been feeling a little congested lately, so, and you can probably tell with the sound of my voice. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, that page 100 is, I keep spitting as I talk. Like saliva keeps slipping down my mouth when I'm talking. But I noticed that page 100 is in the middle of a chapter, and I don't like that. I don't like stopping in the middle of a chapter unless I have to. Like, if I'm being called to come downstairs, or, like, I have to go to work, which doesn't happen that often, because, I make sure I end up watching booktube videos before I have to leave for work. And also, I only get a 15-minute break, so I try and avoid bringing a book that doesn't have a good chapter division, like Robin Hobb books that I can't bring to read during my 15-minute break, because her books, there's no page breaks. There's a little bit, like, in the beginning of the first 2 books of hers that I've read, there will be that little blurb, like, as if it's, how, like, in movies and stuff, you have the voiceover where the guy's talking, the guy or the girl, the narrator, let me just say the narrator's talking and transitioning, you like to show that they're telling the story, and then all of a sudden the narrator's voice drops out, and the story starts, I mean, the story continues on from there. I feel it's kind of like that, but there's no, but other than that, there's really no page breaks in her chapters, and her chapters are really long, so I don't like bringing her books, or at least those first 2 books of hers, I do not. I don't know about her other books, I haven't gotten far in those, I haven't started, I'm only on book 3 now of Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy, but I'm so relieved I got the 2nd book done. But anyway, so I might just try to read several chapters. I don't know how many. I'll pick a certain amount of chapters, and then I might commit a bookish sin and dog-ear the pages I want to stop at. I know, that's such blasphemy, but I'm not someone who is, I mean, yes, I will, but I usually, if I see folded corners and, like, there's a big giant dog-ear on the page, then yeah, I will flip it back and press on it and kind of be like about it, but I'm not that anal about dog-earing pages. It doesn't bother me as much. You know, if it bothers you, then I understand, you know, because it can be annoying. It feels like almost like it's ruining the book a little bit to an extent. But I'm not bothered by it that much. And I will dog-ear pages if I don't have the bookmark, or I just want to save the page because of some other reason, like there's a word I want to look up or something, because I don't like stopping in the middle of reading and then looking up the word. I like to stop reading the chapter or the section, that part, when there's a page break, and then I'll look up the word, or if I decide to stop for the day, because I'm one of those people who I can't read 24 hours. As much as I love reading, I don't do that. There's too many distractions. Which, it's funny that I'm saying that, because I recently found out from a friend who's kind of, like, she likes reading, but she's always been so busy and done other things, and chosen to do other things over reading, and I just found out from her that she gets even more distracted than I do. You know, she can only read, like, 1, maybe 2 books in a month, because she gets so distracted easily and it takes her forever to finish a book. Probably 1 book in a month would be her thing. But anyway, so that's my reading for today. So I will probably only really get to these 2 books. Maybe read The Flight of Gemma Hardy. I keep wanting to say The Last Flight of Gemma Hardy, but I'm getting that mixed up with the Amelia Earhart book that I just donated. Because I figure I have the biography, I don't need to keep all the other Amelia Earhart related books, because I only bought those, or my mom bought them for me, because I was doing a project, and I was all, like, obsessed with Amelia Earhart at the time. I was taking a women's history class, and we were supposed to pick one for our final project and write an essay about them, and I chose her. It's probably because my hair was short, and it was a pixie cut. Well, it was a little longer at that time, and so I could easily curl. It was actually no, I think it was like this length. I think it was this length, and I curled it and stuff like that. So I was Amelia Earhart for Halloween. But anyway, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe. And as always, I hope you all are enjoying your reading, and click the bell if you want to know when I update and post new videos. Click the bell icon below. And originally I was posting videos just on Sundays and Wednesdays, but I might go back to what I was doing before, where I just post videos when I upload them. And as always, I will talk to you guys later. Alright, bye!